channel. Today we're going to show you how to put an induction air take in, including the universal racing filter. Basic simple things you can get. I supply myself from eBay, and I think it's the best place you can get it. It's cheapest. So here's an induction air take kit. We'll be installing that today, and the universal filter. I've already done a few bits in the car. I've done the exhaust system, rechanged the oil. This thing has hit its 150,000 miles, so it needs a service. Simple start today. Most people take the battery out, but you don't need to. I'll just try to squeeze that back in quickly. It's quite simple. You've got one screw there that just pops out with a rubber, and then there's two bolts, one bolt there, and then the little clip for the wire at the top. So you just loosen up your screw, which will come out there, which is down there, one, and then just behind the wire here, just there's the other screw, and then the little clip is over here, just underneath this wiring over here. The final clip goes on the top. It's just from that. Use a screwdriver, pop it out. You can have four individual screws for this area, and they work on a on a 6mm, and the big one's going to be a 8mm that holds it in over, a 10mm that holds it over here. So we're going to pull that out first. You don't need to take your battery out, just as long as you've got protective rubber gloves on, so if you touch them it won't shock you. We've taken the bolts loose, so we've got position one there, one just underneath the piping. Just to remind you guys, this is a HondaCivic SEsport, so it does kind of come pre-installed with racing gear. It is designed by the CEO, son of Honda, and he named it the Mugen. So this is a really fast car, and we're just about to improve it a tiny bit more just with the air filter. Final bolt's going to be down there, and then they're all going to be a 6mm, 1, 2, 3. Number 4 will be a 10mm, which is on the side here. When you're going to go into this, you're going to unclip the clips, unscrew the screw, pull this apart, and take this out. If it's still good quality, I'll be keeping this unless I want to sell the car in the future. It's original parts, so I'm going to be putting that to a side for now. Unclip your piping over here with a long nose pliers or something that's got a good grip, which I've misplaced. You just hold the clip there, pull it forward like that. That just should slip off. Make sure that all your bolts for this are loose. There's 1, 2, and 3. That is it, no more. With the Mugen engine, the SEsport, you're going to need to wiggle it loose just to get it off this rubber there. Once you've done that, you should be able to pull bit by bit out. Make sure you loosen your acceleration cable, but make sure you put it back after you're done. So you got your little cup there and a few extra rubbers. We need to keep the sensor that will fit into, be back with you guys in a second, into the air input sensor. So that would sit like that. This would need to go into that, so we may have to adjust this wire just to get the sensor to fit nicely, because it has to come down underneath here to over here with the filter. So with all to it, I will get started. I will obviously do bit by bit as we go along. This is the first part of the video. It's time for a tea break. We see you in 20. Guys, we're back again. So with your racing filter, you're going to get a couple of these rubbers. You get about 3 to 4 for different fittings. You're going to need to use this if your carburetor is not big enough to fit the pipe in. So what I've done is I've found the right sizing. I had to remove the previous rubber that was there, which is this one, because it's absolutely done for, corroded. It's not going to do a good job, so we're just going to leave that aside. Make sure you put all your rubbers on each side. Put your piping head on, and then it should just slip right over that one perfect. So then you put your bolt on over there, so they can screw down nicely. Make sure that you have enough space for to close, so you might have to put it at an angle like that. That should still work when you screw it together. And make sure that your piping, when you do put it together, it has enough space to move around. From here you can literally build it how you want it, because it comes in individual pieces, which we have down here. We'll be using one of those to fasten up over there shortly. And we have an extra one with a filter, a universal filter. So top man for me, I've got an extra one that I can use to fasten this, because this carburetor is very, very small in comparison to the standard ones. If you put over here, you can have a look inside your carburetor, how dirty it is. That's your fuel line, your acceleration. But inside there, I'm going to need some carburetor spray. It's pure black and dirty. See that? So yeah, that's another job for another day, because I'm too far to get to the shop now. With that, the next part of the video, I won't be putting it together. I'll just be showing you guys after the usage it's done. It's pretty simple, pretty basic. Connect the pipe in, can't go wrong. Make sure you got your rubbers, and the knees will clip on together like that over it, and it will fasten. So my improvising on my situation is, I'm thinking I'm going to do it slightly different to what other people have. I'm not sure how I'm going to really do this, because it's a bit of a tough place. But yeah, I will find the right piping, it'll fit perfect so that it can look good. Make sure you don't lose your rubber when you take this rubber off. These are especially important to make the airflow sealed, so that the air sensor is able to pick up the air going through. And if there's not enough air going through, it will obviously not heat up, but your car will be a hell of a lot slower. The more air you have, the more quicker your car heats up. If you're having heating problems like I am, you're going to need to check this thing. Blow out air pressure, can of air pressure, let it blow clean, put it back together, put it in. It shouldn't cool down. If you go with your finger, go like that, that means you're way too hot and you need to improvise and look at your sensors. Or otherwise, this device over here, which is controlled by Siemens, what it does is it takes the old smoke from the car and pushes it into the engine, making the combustion less powerful and explosive, so that these don't heat up as bad. It's quite old, this one, but I'm going to find something a little bit more newer and stick that one in, and it should be good to go. I will be back shortly. I'm not going to sit here and wait you guys watch me fast forward doing all the shenanigans. I'm just going to do it and then jump back to the next in the video. I'll see you guys in a bit. We're coming towards the end of our video, guys. I'm going to show you now as we come in closer. You get a special bar with your air intake kit. That bar, always make sure to either put it there or over there, somewhere where it's going to fit. Make sure you put your acceleration cable back in place. Now there's one final thing I need to show you all just before we go on. Is every car has a sensor for the oil, for the gas, for the heating, even for the air intake. Those that don't know much about cars, this is your valve places for the sensors. Your 1, 2, 3. You can put a sensor, an air intake into there, or drill another hole, which I'm going to do later, and connect it over there. Now you see it's nice and solid. I've used 2 washers, one there and one there, to make sure it grips properly on my carburetor. I will now test the intake as is. I'm not going to close up the wires. I've soldered, extended my sensor wire, and I've plugged it in at the bottom here. So this is the sensor wire, and we'll give it a little test to see what it sounds like. As soon as I can figure out where this thing is. Right, put it in slightly off my coordinations, but it's good enough. As long as I can get the clip to unclip it, I'm laughing. So it's there. Let's give it a quick comb. Make sure your wires are not touching anything positive and they're well separated when you do the test. When you finish, make sure to use your insulation. And before I go into start it, just to let you guys know, don't be silly and work without safety. Gloves are very important, or you're going to end up with me with a half a gash off my finger today, because I forgot to put gloves on. So the wife fixed it up. Thank you, Mrs. Vince. Special shout out, Mrs. Vince. Yeah, so there's a whole chunk of my skin gone over there. Probably want to use it. Maybe, don't think I need stitches, but preferably just close it up to avoid infection. Right, let's see what this is going to sound like. Those that know about motors and stuff, you just pull the wire here. This is the acceleration. Lovely, so we're good to go. Take it on the road, test it out and see how it goes. And yeah, all good. Thanks for watching, everyone. Now it's just to put your stuff back together and game over, go home, go sleep and get a good night's rest before you go fiddle with the next thing. I'm out. Please subscribe, like if you like the comment. Like, comment and subscribe if you like the video. And if you find anything interesting or you need any queries, just comment in the comment section and I will get back to you all. I'm out. Lord Giovanni in the house. See you later.